I am Dr. Kimberly Smith Dotrieve. I am an internal medicine physician, board certified. I practice in Louisiana, the boot. And I have been practicing since the year 2000, believe it or not. And I have been in my own solo private practice since 2004. Well, my practice took off. God has blessed me from the beginning. And one of the things that I realized from the very beginning, unfortunately, is that what we really do as physicians is chase behind disease. You get sick, you come to us, we give you treatment so that you can get better. Well, I felt somewhere along the way that I really wanted to do more. I mean, how about instead of chasing behind disease, how about I teach patients how to prevent having that disease in the first place? And so from that moment, I started learning more about nutrition. I started learning more about natural supplements. And those are things that I implemented in my practice, which was wonderful because I thought I kind of knew it all, right? Not. In March of 2021, I had a patient who came to see me, and she had high blood pressure. Her sugar was just out of control. And essentially, as her practitioner, I'm so sorry, as her practitioner, her primary care practitioner, I was ready to change her medicines, increase her dosage, because, you know, first and foremost, I need to protect her kidneys, her heart, her brain. And then we can go back and discuss, you know, her nutrition and exercise. Well, before I could change her medicine, she said, wait a minute, doc, I really think I have something that is working. So because I always treat my patients as a team, I know the science, they know their bodies. I said, okay, if she thinks she's taking something that works, let me give her some time. So 3 months later, she comes back for her checkup. Sure enough, blood pressure, stone cold normal. Her blood sugar has dropped at least 150 points. And if you know what an A1C is, her A1C dropped from a 12 to a 9, which is remarkable. So I am ready to jump on board with this natural product because it is really working for her. So I say, what are you taking? And she tells me she is taking Wakana CBD. And immediately I thought to myself, this chick is really tripping, because no way is she talking about this drug, right? And so we talked a little more, and sure enough, she was convinced that this, what I thought was a drug, was helping her blood pressure and her blood sugar. So I felt at that point that if she thinks it's working, I need to figure out why. Why does she think it's working? And that is what led me down it felt like a rabbit hole initially, because there was so much information that we had not been taught in medical school. So much wonderful information that is where this CBD 101 is coming from. And so I'm going to share with you what I have learned, and hopefully you have a better understanding about CBD in general and why I think it is going to be a major medicine in the future. So first of all, let's get something clear. Let's talk about cannabis. So CBD that we use comes from the hemp plant, and the hemp plant comes from the cannabis plant. So I want you to think about the cannabis plant as the mother plant, and think of that mother plant as having twins, one set of twins that are almost identical. And so hemp and marijuana, I call them the twins because by structure, they are pretty identical except for one molecule. And it's that one molecule that allows the hemp to give you health benefits without getting you high, and marijuana to give you the high without the health benefits. Well, at least without all the health benefits that CBD can give you. I actually call them the twins, the good twin, which is hemp, and the bad boy twin, which is marijuana. And so all of the CBD that we get comes from the hemp plant. And doctors used CBD heavily before the 1900s. They used it. Now, they didn't know why it worked, but they knew it did work, and they used it for many different medical issues. So let's go to now the 1930s. By this time, the people in general have realized that hemp, which is where we get our CBD from, right? Hemp is a great, great resource for making paper, clothing, building houses and other buildings. Ford is said to have made a hemp car and used hemp fuel. It is said that 1 acre of hemp can make 10 times the amount of paper that trees can make. It was plentiful and it was easy to reproduce. You can regrow hemp in 3 months, but you can't regrow a tree in 3 months. And it was cheap. So of course, economically, that makes hemp the better choice. And that's exactly what happened. People started using hemp for all of those things. And guess who was pissed about that? A guy named Robert Hearst, who had thousands of acres of trees. So he and a few of his friends went out trying to figure out, how can I get rid of hemp as the competitor? And that's what he did. He did not stop until he figured out that if he attacked cannabis, then that meant cannabis and everything related to cannabis would be removed. So that's what he did. He took everything that was marijuana related and put it all on cannabis. Cannabis is dangerous. It's a drug. It gets you high. And he did not stop until it was removed from our access. It was put on the controlled substance list. Nobody could get to it anymore. So he was able to get his profits back up, right? That's all it was about. Somebody who was rich and powerful using the narrative to spread lies. And unfortunately, you know how it is when living in America. Those lies were so easy for people to believe, but those lies were not for anybody's good except for Robert Hearst. So let's fast forward to 2014. Well, now what has happened is so many trees have been cut down that now we have Save the Tree initiatives. How you like that? So Save the Tree initiatives, you cannot cut a tree down anymore because so many trees have been cut down that they were literally destroying the earth. And so 2014, the Save the Tree initiatives led to somebody actually saying, okay, if we can't cut down the trees, what exactly are we going to use? We still need paper. We still need materials to build things. So somebody had the sense to say, you know what? Hemp never was bad. And so the U.S. Farm Bill of 2014 was signed that said, we're going to protect hemp. We're going to study it, do our research. We want to know, is it good? Is it bad? Is it a drug? Is it dangerous? And by 2018, the U.S. Farm Bill was signed that concluded it is not dangerous. It is not a drug. It does not get you high. As a matter of fact, it is a very plentiful resource, very good in providing all those things that we were getting from the trees. And it was made legal in all states. Isn't that amazing? And so that is why, if you can remember, it was legalized in 1819. You started seeing CBD shops showing up everywhere. I mean, think about it. Your local gas stations have CBD. Well, remember, 1930s, they realized hemp was great for all of those things. But let's not forget the health benefits. It's the health benefits that we don't want to forget about. And here you just see more of the wonderful, wonderful uses of hemp that people have been using it for. But the health benefits, doctors used it heavily since before the 1900s. Remember I said they didn't know why? Well, in the late 80s, early 90s, the discovery of the endocannabinoid system helped us to understand the why. So the human endocannabinoid system is a group of organs, all having CB1, CB2 receptors. These are receptors that the cannabinoids can bind to in a lock and key fashion. So these receptors are located on the organs, your brain, your heart, your liver. And what happens is when you think about, let me give you a scenario first. When you have a stressful situation that occurs, we have what is produced from our sympathetic nervous system. Norepinephrine, adrenaline, and cortisol is actually increased from our adrenal glands. The purpose of that is for our fight or flight system. So our sympathetic nervous system is turned on in any situation where we are afraid, scared, excited. So let's say a snake falls from the sky, from the roof, from wherever. The sympathetic nervous system kicks in. We get production of norepinephrine, adrenaline, and cortisol. And what these three together are doing is they're going to make your heart beat faster. They're going to open up your blood vessels and allow for blood and oxygen to more quickly get to your organs. Because we need our organs, our muscles, our joints, our brain at their peak so that we can fight that snake if we need to fight the snake, or so we can flight, so we can run away. So naturally, when that scare is taken care of, those different substances, now they peaked and now they're going away. And that is an anti-inflammatory response. That is a protective response. When we worry, what happens is those same three substances are peaked. And when you're supposed to see it going down, you start worrying again. And so it peaks again. And then you might stop worrying, but then you thinking about it again and it peaks again. And so under stressful situations, under conditions where you are worried day after day, sometimes hour after hour, sometimes minute after minute or second after second, you don't give those neurotransmitters and that hormone time to come back down. And when they've been high for too long, instead of it being anti-inflammatory, it becomes pro-inflammatory. Instead of it being protective, it becomes destructive. And that is what leads to inflammation in our bodies and the weakening of our organs. Well, the way CBD and the other cannabinoids work, our organs have CB1 and CB2 receptors on them. This is where the cannabinoids are going to connect with those receptors. So you have the cannabinoids like CBD, THC, and there are others like CBN and CBG. These are going to bind to those receptors, and it's going to stop that pro-inflammatory phase from happening. And so if you look at the purple all the way to the left, these represent neurons, okay? And the top neuron is our presynaptic neuron, and the one at the bottom is the postsynaptic. And from neurons communicate with those neurotransmitters like norepinephrine and adrenaline. So the snake falls down from the sky or from the ceiling, the presynaptic neuron is going to start secreting the norepinephrine and the adrenaline, letting the postsynaptic neuron know what's going on, and it goes that way all the way throughout our body. That's how messages travel throughout our body. Well, when that norepinephrine or adrenaline binds with the postsynaptic neuron, it activates our own natural CBD. That's right, our bodies make its own natural CBD. There are two that I can name, anandamide and 2-AG. And when those are activated, that represents the yellow on the right side, on the left side of our screen. The yellow then is produced in that postsynaptic neuron, and you see how it's floating back up to the presynaptic. It's going to bind with that presynaptic neuron up there, and it's going to stop the neurotransmitters from being produced. That is how we have a negative feedback system. We're frightened, the neurotransmitters are produced, they're communicating between the neurons, but the postsynaptic neuron at the bottom is going to activate our own natural CBD. That CBD is going to come up here and it's going to stop the presynaptic neuron from producing the neurotransmitters. That's how it's supposed to work. So when we consider the CBD that we take in internally, it's going to do the same thing. The reason why we need to ingest is because clearly there becomes a time when we become deficient in our own ability to produce the natural CBD that is in our bodies. So just like a diabetic can stop producing insulin, and we need to take insulin to help with controlling our sugar, it's the same thing that's happening here when we take in CBD, whether it's a tincture, the oil, or a gummy, or even a vape. However we take it in, the CBD is going to look around and is going to see where it is needed to cause what we call homeostasis, or balance within the body. And when the researchers discovered the endocannabinoid system, it was said that it was the single most important discovery ever. Why? Because if we can manipulate the endocannabinoid system, then we are able to truly cure diabetes and high blood pressure and all the medical issues that we've been dealing with. That is why the endocannabinoid system is so important to us. And that is why CBD worked as a major medicine before the 1900s. And that's why I feel that it's going to be a major medicine in the years to come, because it is the only thing that we know of right now that potentially can truly manipulate diseases. And with that discovery, can you imagine what is going to happen with the future? People not needing to take prescription medicines because we can use the cannabinoids to manipulate the endocannabinoid system and control our blood pressure and our blood sugar. And what we want to do is we want to learn the truth and unlearn the lies. I mean, because the truth is that that false narrative is what has hindered us for so many years. But let's be clear. Marijuana, or THC, has a psychotropic effects, but CBD does not. THC, or marijuana, it causes a higher than normal release of dopamine, and that is where that high comes from. Also, you get that aggression and the anger and the inability to make sound choices. But with CBD, you get the stimulation of receptors that are going to help with regulating your pain, with your anxiety, with so many different health issues that I'm going to go over in a minute with you. This is CBD, which is going to give us the health without the high. So don't let anybody convince you that CBD is a drug. It is not a drug. But what it is a good natural supplement that can potentially help you with the medical issues you are currently dealing with, and actually potentially get you to a point where you don't need some of those medicines. So here we see the many, many different health benefits from different cannabinoids. So here, remember, I told you there are over 100. Here we have 6, but I want you to focus on the first one, which is good old THC, and the fourth one, which is CBD. Now, THC does have some health benefits. I happen to be a therapeutic marijuana prescriber, and therapeutic marijuana has a place. Absolutely, it has a place. That place tends to be for people who are already in debilitating circumstances, people who have pain that is chronic and so severe that they cannot leave their home, people who have anxiety or PTSD that is so severe that they dread leaving their home. So what ends up happening is the THC is going to help, but then that psychotropic effect, that high feeling, the extreme sedative portion of it still keeps people from being able to get out and be a part of life. But what CBD does, on the other hand, CBD can help with your pain. It can help with nausea and vomiting. It can help with bones, fractured bones and bone growth. It can help with even anti-tumor properties, suppressing some tumors or preventing the spread. It can help with rashes. It can help lower seizures. There's a wonderful, wonderful story on YouTube about a little girl named Charlotte Fiji who had seizures. They said over 100 seizures a day. Her neurologist had tried every prescription anti-seizure medicine, and none of them would work. And he just figured, what the heck, I might as well try CBD. When he put Charlotte on CBD, her seizures dropped to about 2 or 3 a day. Now, that is remarkable. Now, I don't know Charlotte Fiji, but I do know one of our distributors here, who in Louisiana, who also has seizures. And when she started taking the Wakana CBD products, she gave a testimony not long ago, letting all of us know that her seizures were fewer than before. So absolutely it works. It's antibacterial. It helps with anxiety. I have a patient who actually was on 2 or 3 different anxiety medicines, and I have a personalized care practice. So my patients actually have my cell phone number. And when she was having her flare-ups and she was just feeling just over the top, she would call me. And it got to the point where she was literally calling me every other day, because she was something always set her off. And so I felt like that neurologist. All right, you know what? She's already on 3 different medicines. What the heck? Baby, let's try some CBD and see how it works for you. So this is a Monday. So my week passes by pretty, quickly, and, nothing to really brag about. And Friday comes, and her mother comes to my office. Now, I was treating her and her mom at the time. And her mom comes in and she says, "What did you give her?" And so I started freaking out initially because I hadn't heard from her. And it was at that moment that I realized, oh my gosh, I hadn't talked to her. Now I'm wondering, Lord, I hope she's okay. I hope everything went fine. So I said, yeah, I gave her some, some CBD products that are supposed to be really helpful. I mean, how is she? Is anything wrong? Her mother said, no, I have not seen her this calm in years. So her mother was there to buy some more CBD products to make sure her daughter did not run out. Amazing. Yes, it works. It's neuroprotective, so it can help with people who have multiple sclerosis. Also, when you think of people who have Alzheimer's or any type of dementia. Anti-ischemic, which we're going to talk about a little bit more in a minute. Anti-inflammatory is a very strong anti-inflammatory product, helps against muscle spasms, and it also helps with a lot of different mental health disorders. Because one of the issues that happens with the mental health disorders is that, when they're out of control, that anxiety level is really high. And if you can get some CBD on board, it literally kind of brings that down and helps them to feel more calm and relaxed and more in control. And same thing when you think of kids who have autism. When I've looked at plenty, now we do not recommend our products for anybody under the age of 18, but for autistic people, let me not say kids, they've given the products to autistic people, and they have had much better behavior, fewer behavior issues. They're more calm, they're more at ease and more relaxed, and so are their parents or their caregivers. These are all the wonderful different health benefits that we can have, that we can experience using top-notch CBD products. Because remember, just like you can buy products, you can buy clothes from Walmart, you can buy clothes from Dillard's, you can buy clothes from Neiman Marcus. But pretty much the different brands of these clothes determines the quality of the clothes. And that's how come they cost different prices, right? Same thing with CBD. You might be able to find CBD at a gas station, but is it a good quality CBD? Are you sure that CBD doesn't have stuff in it that's not supposed to be in it? What I do know is any CBD product you're taking, you need to be able to see a certificate of analysis. Every single product that comes out of Wakana or Akana now, because we have had a wonderful transition to Akana in the hands of God. Every product that we're going to get from Akana is going to be tested by a third-party lab that specializes in hemp, and we have that blessed assurance that there is only in every product what should be in every product. So make sure that you want to compare apples to apples, oranges to oranges. And what I can also tell you is that every patient of mine, which was another, that was a surprise to me. When I started with this company, and I started introducing it to my patients, I was shocked that so many of my people were already using it because their grandson, granddaughter, somebody had already given them some to try. So don't be surprised at the people who truly would be willing to try this. You may think no, but I promise you, people are already using these wonderful, wonderful products. Now we're going to get back to the anti-ischemic properties. This here with CBD, we know it's a very good vasodilator. It causes vasorelaxation or reduction in the tension of blood vessel walls. It helps with decrease in blood pressure and stress. It's cardioprotective, but it's also cerebral protective as well. So I want to give you just my own testimony. Well, I'm actually giving you my husband's testimony. When we started with this company, the first thing we tried was the pain cream because he had been in a car crash and he had neck surgery and knee surgery. He was on 4 different pain medicines. He did not like the way the medicine made him feel. Plus, he didn't feel like it was really helping the pain the way he wanted it to help. So first thing we did was try the cream. We put the cream on him, and we actually put it on another lady who we consider as another mother to us. And it just so happened that the day the products came in, she was having a very bad flare up with her knee. Her knee was painful, swollen. She was having to use her cane to walk, had her knee brace on. So both of them put the cream on their knee. He put it on his neck as well. And I'm waiting around because I had already seen a whole bunch of videos saying how the cream worked, right? So I'm waiting. And I'm like, okay, nobody's saying anything. Okay, is it working? Okay, what are y'all feeling? And our second mom says, I don't feel anything. And so now I'm thinking like, okay, you don't feel a tingle or nothing? And you don't feel like it's starting to work? She said, no, I don't feel any pain anymore. It couldn't have been more than 5 minutes, y'all. Truth. And same thing with my husband. And from that moment on, my husband used the pain cream, the tincture, and the gummy twice a day, every day. And his pain has been controlled, and he has not taken any pain medicine since May of 2021. None of it. Now, let's fast forward 2 or 3 months later. He says, just out the blue, oh, I've been feeling dizzy. I'm like, okay, you been checking your pressure? No, because y'all know men. So, okay, let's go check your pressure. His top number, his systolic blood pressure was 103. So it's like, whoa, okay. So I had to take him off of his blood pressure medicine. So he has not taken any blood pressure medicine since August of 2021. Thank you, Jesus, because he takes the CBD products every day, and the CBD products are helping to keep his blood vessels relaxed and less inflamed, and there's less inflammation in his heart. And so he doesn't need the blood pressure medicine because the CBD products are working perfectly fine all on their own. And I have had the same results with so many of my patients. And so many patients actually are off of their blood pressure medicine, or they are taking a significantly lower amount of blood pressure medicine than they were before. This works across the board, everyone. And so Wakana offers a wide variety of products. Akana offers a wide variety of products that we can use. Just so you understand why the different products, these different products, of course, you know, this is going to be a preference thing. Some people prefer the tincture. You put the tincture under your tongue, 3 drops under the tongue, let it sit there for about a minute, and then you swallow. Tinctures are going to get into your system in about an hour, and they're going to last for about 4 hours. Gummies, on the other hand, and our gummies are probably some of the most potent you're going to ever have. So our gummies, we only suggest that you take, or recommend that you take, 1/4 of a gummy. And I tell my people, any customer or patient, cut the gummy in 4 as soon as you get it, so that you don't make any mistakes. And when you take the gummy, it'll peak in your system in about 4 hours, and it's going to last about 8 to 12 hours. And then we have our topical cream, which is my favorite. When you put the cream on it, it'll work anywhere from 5 to 15 minutes. That's all it takes for it to work. And once it starts working, I've had different durations. But what I realize is people who've been suffering with knee pain or any kind of joint pain and nothing has relieved their pain, when they first use that cream works for them usually for like a whole day, 24 hours or more. Now, people who've been having, the chronic pain and they've been using medicine and it kind of works, maybe it doesn't work, 24 hours a day, I find that the cream is going to work for them for at least a half of a day. So the recommendation is that you use it, twice a day so that you get a good, get it working for a good 24 hours. So when you think about all of these products, for most issues, especially when you're talking about chronic pain, you want to use all of them. Now, when I say all of them, I mean a tincture, a gummy, and the pain cream. So, 3 different products. And we do have a smokable as well that I'm going to talk about in a little bit. The smokable actually is also something that you can use, and it's the quickest way to get CBD into your system. 2 or 3 puffs, and it's in your system in 1 minute, and it'll last for about an hour. So layering, let's say you have a gout flare-up. Most people know what gout is, right? Or you might know it as gouch because it hurts like heck. So you want to put the cream on right now, and you want to put the 3 drops of the tincture under your tongue, let it sit for a minute and swallow, and then you want to do a 1/4 of that gummy. We do all of this at the same time because of something we call layering. So we know that pain cream is going to start working in 5 to 15 minutes. In an hour, the tincture is going to start working. And when that tincture wears off in about 4 hours, the gummy is going to start kicking in. Now, if you have some acute pain going on, you want to do the smokable first because it gets into your system in 1 minute. And then that pain cream is going to start working 5 minutes later. And then the tincture in an hour, and then the gummy in 4 hours. So if you do this twice a day, every day, you have a steady stream of CBD in your system, and whatever the condition is that you're trying to help is going to have its best chance at being better controlled or better relieved. Okay. Now, I make no claims that this is a cure for anything, but I can tell you that based on my experience with my own family and my patients, that this has worked very well for pain, for blood pressure, for stress and anxiety, for sleep, for so many different medical issues.